welcome you all on behalf of IIMT College of Management. It is our privilege to welcome you all in today's session of the 7 days FDP program on entrepreneurship across dimension, innovation, finance, and intellectual property rights. Today's topic is Startup Finance Basics, which will offer you a valuable insight into funding options, financial planning, and effective resource management for startup success. To ensure our understanding on this topic, we are privileged to have with us distinguished academician Dr. Sumitra Chaudhary ma'am, whose expertise and scholarship perfectly align with today's session. Allow me to introduce her. It is our privilege to introduce Dr. Sumitra ma'am, a distinguished economist and policy expert with extensive experience spanning academia, public administration, and international economic diplomacy. Dr. Chaudhary is a former director of financial sustainability in Department of Economic Affairs, Ministry of Finance, Government of India, and has had hardly accomplished career in Indian economic services. During her tenure, she served in several key ministries, including Ministry of Finance, Ministry of External Affairs, Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Ministry of Commerce, Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distributions, and Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, where she played an instrumental role in shaping nation's economic policies. She was a member of the Indian team responsible for establishment of BRICS New Development Bank and BRICS Contingent Reserve Agreements, contributing to strengthening multilateral financial cooperation among emerging economies. While serving as a Deputy Secretary in Ministry of External Affairs, Dr. Chaudhary has actively involved in formulating strategic policies aimed at enhancing India's economic diplomacy. Dr. Chaudhary has also served for 4 years as an Indian diplomat at the Embassy of India in Washington, D.C., where she worked extensively on India United States economic relations, global financial issues, and international economic cooperation. In her various official capabilities, she has authored numerous policy papers, background notes, and analytical briefs on subjects such as financial sector reforms, G20 financial finance track issue, inflation, oil prices, food prices, volatility, infrastructure investment, and foreign direct investment. She holds a PhD in economics. She has also earned advanced management certificate from the Robert H. Smith School of Business, University of Maryland, USA, and was awarded the G20 Korea Global Leaders Fellowship at Korea Development Institute, Seoul. In addition, she is participated in several prestigious international leadership and governance programs, including Helmut and on the global issues in Germany and public governance and economic development program at the Civil Services College of Singapore. In the early phase of her career, Dr. Chaudhary has extensively in the field of economics of education, co-authoring a book on public expenditure on education and authoring the India country paper on the universalization of the elementary education in the Rajasthan. With her rare contribution, of the academia rigor, policy making expertise, and international exposure, Dr. Sumitra Chaudhary is widely regarded as a leading authority in economic policy, financial sustainability, and global economic governance. Her presence adds exceptional intellectual value and distinctions to any academia, policy oriented, or professional forums. So, I would like to welcome Dr. Sumitra Chaudhary ma'am to please join with us and give us insightful knowledge about the Startup India Finance. Good morning, ma'am. Welcome to our session.
Good morning. Thank you so much for this beautiful introduction. I hope I am audible to everyone. I have come to know that participants have joined from many places of India. I am really thankful to IIMT College because of taking me as one of the resource persons. Not that I directly set up any startup, but I take a lot of interest in the subject because this is an area which is giving a lot of opportunities for the youngsters in future. And so also it utilizes technology, which is the future of India. So I decided to take this up as a lecture and startup finance basics. Basically, a lot of here there are many learned audience, I would think, because they are already the faculty, and you all must be doing a lot of work on different aspects of business, entrepreneurship, management. Faculty are normally involved directly in those things. My PhD thesis was on cost of chemical and engineering industries. I had done a modeling. So at that time, I had some exposure to entrepreneurship. And later, of course, as a part of a lot of these programs which I attended, this was an area. And particularly, I thought if I have some knowledge, it is always worth sharing. Professor Pandey, in his inaugural address, had made a very useful remark saying that when you disseminate knowledge, it increases, it doesn't decrease. So anyway, I'll not go into the lot of introduction. I hope I'll share the PPT, which is, I think I shared with you. Okay, is it visible?
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am, it's visible.
Yes. So the first slide, so this is a faculty development program on entrepreneurship across dimension, innovation, finance, and IPR. Very, very relevant. This is another reason why I thought I must take this opportunity to connect with the people who are working on this subject. And also because Indian Economic Association has very thoughtfully associated with this program. And this is one step to do something in practical terms, because most of the terms we economists normally engage with theoretical research analysis, but this is one area where we can really contribute in practical aspects. So uh, so I'll start with the definition. I'm sure that everybody knows about startup definition, but I'll just have a quick glance because startups are these early stage operation, and they focus on single product or service founded by one or more entrepreneurs who develop a product or service for which there is demand. They believe that there is a demand and that they can create a market for that. So the challenge for startup is that they do not have an established business model. Like in other businesses, you already have a business model. But here you don't have a business model, you have to establish one. So they often face high cost and very limited resources they have, and there are very few people who used to lend them. So this is an area which really require a lot of attention. Financing of startup. How do they raise finance? There are different terms which are being used. It is very interesting to see that youngsters really come up with a lot of terms. And before you enter into understanding startup finance, one needs to be familiar with these terms. And I will not go into these basic terms, but normally they raise capital through bootstrapping, means you are raising capital from your family and friends or from your own savings. These are bootstrapping. Then you have angel investors who are very high net worth individuals from who actually invest in the startup because they see a lot of growth there. So if there is a growth, they will ultimately make profit. So that is the incentive of angel investors to invest in startup. And now you will see that there are a lot of network of angel investors which have come up. And so they also look for a business model which is worth funding and in which they see a lot of revenue which will come up in future. Then there are venture capitalists. Venture capitalists normally take up share in the company. Of course, angel investors also take up share, but venture capitalists take up share and make a bigger investment. And at a later stage, when the business has already established its model, so finance is a very important subject for the startup. I will just quickly talk about what Department of Industrial Policy and Promotion defines startup as, because this is government is has come up with this Startup India initiative in which they have to define what startup is so that the organizations can get their tax benefit, can get actually registered and get recognition, properly file their accounting and all that stuff. So DPIT has defined a startup as it can be either a private limited company or a partnership firm. Later, it can become limited liability partnership. But it will be for initial 10 years from the date of incorporation or registration. So any startup where when it register, it has to go to Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and I think registration is very absolutely online these days. So the turnover in any financial year since its incorporation should not exceed 100 crore according to DPIIT definition. And working towards, they should work towards innovation, development, or improvement. So this is the basic definition of startup. Why I went to the definition, because one is to understand financing of which kind of organization we are talking about. So why financing model and financing is very important for startup, because either they are looking forward to build a viable and sustainable business. So they have to quantify and validate their business plan and the business model, then the assumptions that they have made, because established business already have a model, so they have a lot of things to share from their past performance. In the case of startups, they do not have a business model. So they have to entirely depend on their projection and vision to start with. So this is very important, that when you do not have anything, how do you develop a finance model? So they are either looking for funding, or sometimes even after operationalization, they have to manage their finance so that they do not go bankrupt and they do not go out of business and their initiative. It is said that 98% of, or more than 90%, don't know, 98% was the figure which was quoted a few years back. They used to say that 98% of startups actually die at the stage of idea itself, because they are not able to. But this is not to discourage any startup, because startup is really going very high. I think India is the third largest network of startups in India now. Of course, we are much behind USA and other countries, but still we are catching up very fast, and our young entrepreneurs are really, really very active. So I will quickly share this slide also. This is not so much covered by the topic, but one should just an idea of how this startup funding will work, so that we know how the finance basics should be worked out. So how it works is that, say for example, at the stage of idea, I say at the stage of idea stage, it is only the founder who has come up with the idea. Someone who has come up with the idea is idea stage. He has not done any investment or anything as yet, but he has this idea. So we presume that he is the 100% owner of this business. Then he discusses with many people, and maybe one of his friend, as the model which shows in India, that one friend or some classmate or somebody took a lot of interest. Some people have also come up with the with his spouse to set up startup. So in this case, if we assume that each of them had agreed to pay, say, 50 lakhs and 50,000 or something, because initially it's a startup, so I would say maybe they agreed to pay 50,000 each. So their total value is 1 lakh at this stage, and they hold 50% share, two of them. Then at the third stage, you have done bootstrapping, approaching some relations, and so maybe one of your uncle agreed to pay, say, 5%, pick up 5% of the share of the company. And what he did, he said, okay, I'll put in 20 lakh of rupees. So when he has put 1 lakh of rupees. So if he has given you 1 lakh of rupee and picked up 5% share, then how much is the valuation of your company now? The valuation increases to 20 lakh, because 5% is 1 lakh, so 100% is 20 lakh. So then they have this option pool. Option pool is also known as ESOP, employee stock option pool. And here you decide to employ some people in your startup, and they pick up some share. The very idea of startup is that you don't raise fund from the banks, because either banks or any financial institutions, because they will charge interest on the first place. Then secondly, they may ask for collateral. Thirdly, they may look for the established business, none of which you would like to do, and you also do not have a business model already. So the fundraising is very different in case of startup rather than established business. So you have option pool, and in the fourth round, which is known as seed round, you actually approach angel investors, and you might be able to convince some angel investor, and they agree to say put in 20 lakh of rupees in your business. So if they do so, your valuation goes to 1 crore, assuming that this is some kind of percentage which just I worked out to make it 100%. So if the angel investor now picks up 16.7%, and you have given some share to your employees, which is option pool, another 16.7%. So your uncle had earlier given you this 1 lakh of rupees, which now works up to 4.22%. And your 50,000 and 50,000 now makes 31.2 and 31.2%. So this is how it has been worked out. At the third stage, there are you approach the venture capitalist, and they come up with say 5 crore of rupees. They agree to fund. They see a lot of growth in your company, and so they fund you some say 5 crores. With this, they pick up say 33% of the share in your company. So that will make your valuation to 15 crore. So this is the first, they call it series of funding, series A, series B, series C, like that. They keep on raising funds till the time they are ready to launch IPO. That means they want to go public. They list in the BSE or NSE, and then they start raising money from the stock market. So that is the IPO stage. But before reaching the IPO stage, they may need several rounds of organizing financing. So they will raise fund in series A, B, C, D, all those kind of series. So why I introduce this, to understand that this is the kind of thing that any startup has to do. In the next slide, I have just picked up a few cases which are very popular and also used by me personally. Of course, Ola Electric I have not used as yet, but this Zomato. Now, why I am showing this slide is because it gives you the name of the people who set it up and what is their business, when did they start, for example, and when did they become they actually became a public company, and they launched their IPO. So these are some successful company according to their performance. So, and they became, first they became unicorn. All of these are unicorn. There are many unicorns because India has more than 125 startups now, which have now become unicorn. And I'm sure that all of you are familiar with the term unicorn. It is very frequently used. That means this company now has valuation of more than $1 billion, they say. So it is the valuation, not the actual cash that they have. That this valuation I explained in the previous slide, that you put in some investment and your valuation increases according to the shareholding. It's something like market capitalization, that you don't actually have that money in your hand, but the value goes up because the share prices has gone up. It's something like that. So these are the companies which have launched IPO, and you can see the Zomato. You have why I have listed them here. I'll not go into the each company. You can see these companies. Zomato, this person called Dipinder Goyal and Pankaj Chadha. Why I am sharing this is because, if you are interested in really learning how the startup is working, it is worth listening to their interviews. Lot of interviews are available in the even YouTube channels and some professional channels where they go and speak. So I suggest that to understand the entire gamut of startup working, including the finance and various terms that they use, it is worth listening to the interview and going into the case studies of these companies. How this Zomato, for example, raised its finance, how did they calculate their cost structure, how was their revenue assumption, how much time they took, because all companies do not take same time to go till the stage of IPO. Some may take a longer time, some may take shorter time, but mostly 4 5 years definitely if they are very efficiently functioning, or they may take even 8 9 years, 10 years, and some may even go out. And they say there is a concept called pivoting. I don't know, maybe many of you know. Pivoting means suppose you have started a company and due to some reason your financials or your plan did not work out, you have the option to move to a different company or merge with a different company. So you will find that there are a few startups who go for pivoting. So Paytm, Nika, Ola Electric is a product startup. These are services startup mostly. Zomato, as you know, it's a food delivery. Nika, online beauty wellness. Paytm is a digital payment startup. First Cry is a baby product store. Go Digit is a digital insurance company. And Urban Company is a service provider, which most of us have started using them. So these are some of the companies which we use, and we know that they started a startup, but now they have grown bigger and they are really doing good. And for startups, it is not always that they have to be profitable. As a startup, you first struggle, or you first decide to have an established business where you have established revenue model, and you show promises where you can attract a lot of future customers, and so your growth is very high. So this is what you have to show in your projections, and projections have to be very, very realistic. So in startup basic finance basics, what we do, we do it like as we do in other established companies also. But here, what you include in these each of these components may be a little different from what you include in established business finance models. So here you have to do the cost structure of your startup. Then you have to decide about revenue models. You have to do cash flow management. You have financial planning and forecasting. Then you have to manage your accounting and bookkeeping. And then you work out key performance indicators. So startups which are at different stages of development, because some startup may be at the initial stage, seed funding stage, some may be at a little later venture capital stage where they can get finance from venture capitalists. So these statements, when you prepare, there is no single model, financial model. But what you have to do is that you have to include most of these things, and you have to decide what all you need to include in your model. So cost structure for one company may be a little different from other company based on what kind of products and services you are trying to. If it is a product company, its cost of goods may be different, and if it is a service company, then your cost of obtaining that service, say for example software development and all that, may be different. So you have to decide what all you need to include. So most of the startup is working for more than 20 years now globally, and there are a lot of established templates, and there are websites which actually give you the templates. And when you go into the details, you will find that most of the people who are actually doing it, the startups, they prefer going to the available templates and then customize it. This is a good way, I would suggest. And I just quickly, picked up some of the websites where templates are available. You can have more, or you can check them, and you can find out whether there is a better template generator than these. But what niceties these have is that you can have these template directly and modify it. These are freely downloadable initially, and maybe they are also startups. So at some point of time they will start generating revenue, but they give you free access for 7 days, 1 month kind of thing, and you can have a look at them. I'll just click on one of them so that you get an idea what kind of information they have. Would it work? Yeah. See, so there are financial model template both in Excel and Google. And here you can see what all they have included. You can go into the details. Basically, what they are doing is that they are actually projecting the revenue. These are the actual revenue. Maybe it's a different company where they have already operationalized, but I would think this is a projection. This must be not very new. It must be an old one starting from 23, 24, 25, 26 and 27. Obviously, it's a projection. So when they do this projection, if you have a look, you go further right side, you can do it. There are multiple sheets here. I don't know whether I can go here online, but you can always have a look. There are these, they give the financial summary, then they also generate charts, balance sheet, income statement, cost statement, everything they developed. Even the revenue statement you can take from here, and you can customize as per your need. So I these are somewhat like the statements that we prepare for our normal business. Other entrepreneurs also prepare this kind of statement for their businesses, but here it is startup. So everything is projected, and the challenge is how accurately and how best you can do these projections. So you are doing revenue projections, then based on what? So uh, this is, you can have a look at it whenever you want. So I'll skip from this one. I don't know how to go back. I have to go back. Yeah. So you can see these templates from here, and you can actually check what all these are. They are downloadable even in template in Excel form or in Google Sheets. So it's very convenient to do that. And if you are having some problem, you can even go how a template is explained. There are many YouTubes like that. So I actually did not go into drawing that, that model template, because it will not work uniformly for all companies. So the best is to take one template from any of the online sources and then customize it as per your need. And if you have doubts about some issues, what to include, what not to include, here you will find a lot of YouTube, also available YouTube channels also explain this. And you can find some Indian explanation, Indian entrepreneurs also explaining. But this one is perhaps not from India, but I just took it. You can just have a look at this one. Sorry, this is, yeah. So what I'm suggesting is that not that you have to take this one, but here he is showing how you calculate monthly and then add up to the yearly model. And so this kind of things, I just gave you one link. You can have a look. This is the age of artificial intelligence, ChatGPT and all that. So you will get a lot of information if you look at the online sources. What I thought I would focus on is actually uh, what you need to develop a financial model. So you basically have to forecast your revenue, list all products which are, sorry, this is, so you will have to list out the products that you are selling and determine your units and what is their sales. So you need to be very realistic in drawing this thing, and I'll tell you how this is done later on. Then you have to estimate cost of goods sold. So cost of goods sold includes some uh, that means the cost of the materials that you have you want to use for the production of this for this startup. Sorry. So if it is a consultancy company or it is a service company, so this item will vary. It may not be material cost, it may be service cost, it may be. So there is a term called SaaS companies. If you are familiar with startup, you will know by now. SaaS stands for software as a service company. So most of the startups, which I also outlined there, except Ola Electric, I think all of them were SaaS companies because they are developing software as a service and making it a company, startup company, which is emerging as a big company later on. So then you also have to do operating expenses. This is what you will have to project. So if you are holding any marketing events, if you have to undertake any traveling, you have to have legal cost for registering the company. Then if you have online marketing, payment to the employees, then if you spend for preparing accounting statement, rent, utilities. We know that these are again, have to be classified as fixed cost, variable cost, and all that. So, personnel, so you have to engage in personnel, and there you will spend for sales and marketing professional, then research and development professional, and general administration, and you pay them all salaries. But in addition to salaries, you also have to make arrangement for their workspace, or you have to provide them computer, or you have to provide them phone, or whatever equipment necessary. So actually personal expenses must also include all those expenses. Then investment in assets. So you acquire some physical assets like computer, office equipment, machinery, or intellectual property of the equipment. You register for it. So there is some investment in assets, and there is a financing sheet. So here you show your equity, loans, and all that stuff. So apart from doing, so why I'm showing this is that before you go for, as I said, that there are templates available, but you will have to customize it as per need. So before you go to use this template, you first have to know what all I would need to be prepared with. So that's why I showed some of these items which you have to be ready with before you enter going into preparation of your financial model or financial statements. So there are these other things which you have to be ready with. This is working capital, which you have to uh, estimate what is the capital required to sustain your daily operations. Then if it is sustaining for more than 1 year, obviously, if the startup is running for many years, then you have to calculate the depreciation of the assets. This also goes into the profit and loss statement. And then you have to see whether you have to pay taxes, and this is then goes into the profit and loss statement again. Then valuation, which I showed in the previous one of the previous slides, but valuation is not calculated in one single way. It has different ways of calculation. So there are comparable company analysis. You may set valuation of your startup based on the comparable company's valuation. So this is one way. Then second is discounted cash flow. So you actually decide how much should be my revenue after 5 years, and then you work out the present value, discount them to the present value, and say this is the valuation of my company and it is achievable. Then there is venture capitalists are normally interested in investing and then taking exit when the firm actually launches its IPO, and from that they earn a lot of profit, or so they are interested in exit value. So venture capitalists would like to, see how much would be the exit value. That means the stage at which you go for launching your IPO. Then there are this scorecard method where you assign score to factors like team. Say 30% you are giving. If it is a good team, you are giving them a weight of 30%. If they have been able to project a good market, you say okay 25%. Then you have a good product, you give 20%. So this is the valuation multiply by an average valuation or similar startups, so similar startup, how much are they spending? So you take these scorecard and adjust according to your own scorecard, because the other companies, these score factors may be different. They may be assigning 20% to their team if the team is not very good, or they may assign 50% to the team if the team is very good. Because when you listen to some of the interviews directly or some of the startup entrepreneurs, what you will come to know is that many investors, invest by looking at the founder. If the founder is really committed, he has a vision, he is able to show that he will be generating revenue in future, then many venture capitalists would pick up his company despite not having other things so sound. So then there is this Barclay pitch deck. Investor assign some market value per unit, and then they, based on a standardized template, they work this pitch deck. Pitch deck is where these startups actually go and present their cases. So when they go and present their cases, this is known as pitch deck, where there would be a lot of angel investors or venture capitalists where they have to pitch in for their, for their proposal. And financial statement, as I said, this is not uniform for every purpose. It is a little, you have to tweak a little bit. So here, financial statement for investors. So what do investors look for in your statement? So they will quickly have a look at your startup financial summary overview of the financials. Then they will maybe like to highlight some of the key metrics, which are also known as KPIs or key performance indicators. Here they look at revenue growth, user acquisition. Then they also look at your income statement, profit and loss statement, obviously. So here you present revenue, you present cost of goods, you present gross profit, operating expenses, net profit and loss, projection for next 3 to 5 years. So normally, projection, immediate projection could be, monthly basis. For first 1 to 2 months, first 1 to 2 years, startup should ideally produce monthly statement, so that he is also able to keep track of his finance, and also he is able to see whether he has enough money to survive beyond second year. And then you maybe project for next 3 to 5 years. That can be yearly, because if you are pitching for your investment to the investors, then you have to convince them that for the next 3 to 5 years also, my projection is like that, which is going to work out. So then you have the balance sheet. In balance sheet, you produce this asset, liabilities, and equity, which is the normal thing. But what is your asset? What is your liabilities? What is your equity? You have to be very clear. Then you prepare your cash flow statement where you say inflows. Inflows are from revenue or from investments from others. If you are already operating, then you will have a revenue, or if you are not operating as yet, but you are projecting for future, that also you will have to show. Basically, if you are 3, 4 years old and you are raising finance for next 5, 6 years, then you have to combine both revenue and investment plans, or you have to have the actual revenue which you have incurred and what revenue you are seeing for the future. So here you have outflows, expenses, loans, etc., and cash burn rate. So burn rate is again a term which they use in startups. Burn rate is the amount of money that you have used in a particular month. So how much was the money at the beginning of the month in your bank, and how much is the money left? So at the end of the month. So you deduct this, and the amount that is available is the burn rate. So burn rate gives them some kind of idea that this is my monthly expense. So many startup, what they do, they take 3 months average, for example. So 1 month average may not be standard. So if you take 3 months burn rate, then you will be able to convince them that this is my monthly requirements and this much I have, and they also know for themselves how much money they are left with and how they should raise it from later. Then key metrics or key performance indicators I mentioned earlier also. This is you will have to project revenue growth rate. Then how much is your customer acquisition cost? So there is a cost for like onboarding a customer. This is they call it CAC or CSC. Customer acquisition, for example, urban company. Now, we are the customers, and we may or may not stick to their services. So they have their ways. Say, for example, some of their vendors who provide this service, what they can do is that they will ensure that you are still onboarded. For example, if you avail a service from urban company and a professional visits you for rendering the service, it may be him who is ensuring that next time also when you call, he is available. So you gave kind of rating that assures that he will come. But against that, what this person has to do, the vendor, he actually, have to pay something to the urban company. So customer acquisition cost has to be calculated for different kind of services or products that you render. So this is also they calculate, or one startup has to calculate. Then they calculate something called lifetime value. So if you are a customer, then the company tries to assess how much you will be paying. Say, for example, if I am a customer of urban company, or for say Amazon, or for any of these companies, then the company have the information about my probable lifetime value that I am giving to the company. So they kind of take average and all that, but this they have to calculate. Bond rate, I already explained. These are some of the key metrics, but you may have to include more depending on the investor's requirement. And but these are the basics which you have to present. Then the funding requirements, that amount you are seeking, and how you will be using these funds, and what is your expected milestones in terms of revenue and all that. So the basic idea is that to the extent possible, one has to keep it very concise and use graphs and charts uh, to make it more attractive for the investors to understand how your key metrics is going to work. And so I'll go to the next one. Uh, for founder, the cost structure is also very important. So they will have to do fixed cost, variable cost, one-time cost. I'll not go into the details. They have been partly covered. Then revenue models, I mentioned there may be many revenue models. So revenue models can be subscription-based models. So here customers will pay a recurring fee. For example, we constantly take say recurring fee for the services we obtain, and it can be monthly, it can be annual. For example, the way we take services of say cable services and all that, this is the model, subscription based model. Or even for the mobile connection, we use this subscription based model. So even for startup, one can be a subscription based model to gain access to the company's product or service. Then there is a model called freemium model. So there is a freemium model in the sense that it is offered free initially, but upgraded to a premium version for a fee later, which I mentioned a little while ago. Most of the companies are doing it like that. They will say that you have a free access for 7 days, or you have free access for 15 days or 1 month. But later on, if you continue, they will start charging a fee. So this is a freemium model. Then there is an advertising model. The company generates income by displaying its advertisement on various platforms, like in Facebook, we have seen, or many other social network platform, we find a lot of advertisement. So they generate revenue from the companies, and you generate this revenue. Then there is this e-commerce model. Many company generates income by selling products or services online through a website or mobile app. So this is another model, revenue model. I'll not go into the details. If he has product A, B, C, so he has to, the revenue is number of units sold, price per unit. This is known. I am not going to the detail, very basic. So I have just taken the case of urban company. How have they generated their revenue model? They take revenue through commissions, then they have lead generation, then reverse auction, and ads or commercials. So these are the sources of revenue for urban company. What they mean, I have given the details. Participants, this PPT may be distributed to the participants. They can have a look, because I think we are running short of time. And cash flow management, I mentioned. So here you have to monitor your monitor, analyze, and optimize your net amount of cash receipt and cash expenses. So net cash flow is studied from burn rate, which I already mentioned, that cash which is coming in every month and going out. You have to monitor the burn rate very carefully. Then you have to project your growth rate. So growth rate is money is, say for example, you are working at growth rate every month, then you are taking money in that you are left you have in the account in say month 2, and money that you had in month 1 divided by money in month 1, which is a very simple growth rate calculation, which will keep you on track, where you can see how much is the growth rate of your company, whether you are spending more, or whether you have still some money left. Then negative cash flow also happens, and this negative cash flow may happen. One reason may be due to churn. Churn means customer suddenly stops availing your services or products. Then there is a churn. This term is known as churn. So then runway is also calculated. What is runway? Runway is an estimation of how long you can survive with this amount of money. So what you do is you have your bank balance, and then you divide it by average burn rate, say average of 3 months, as I mentioned. Then you will get to know how many months you can survive with this amount of money. So ideally, they advise that you should at least have 1 full years of runway before you, and if you have, when you see that your runway is going very low, then before 1 year, you should initiate action to raise more finances. So mismanaging cash flow will definitely lead to many problems, delayed payments and insufficient funds, investment challenges, increased stress and all that. Uh, I think we may avoid this one because I explained somehow that you have to do financial planning. Accounting and bookkeeping is normally like any other bookkeeping. Here, you have to be careful if your company is a bit larger, 250 crore and above is your valuation. Then you have to comply with the standard in AS, Indian Accounting Standard. And there are few other things which I mentioned. Accounting and bookkeeping is not very different from established companies, but this is what the basic difference between a startup and established company is always that they have already established the business and you are in the process of establishment. So most of the things you project and they actually use their past performance. Key performance indicators I mentioned earlier. So it may show your sales, profitability, performance, revenue growth rate, gross margin, EBITDA, and cash flow, burn rate, all that I mentioned. It can be, so KPIs, key performance indicators can be industry specific or company specific. And they may be different based on the nature of your business, whether it is a software is a service or whether it is a customer oriented service, you know. So this will be a little different. There are two different approaches of financial modeling for startup. In one, financial modeling means basically revenue modeling. So one is top-down forecasting. Here they will presume how large is the market. Say for example, if you are starting a say company like an Amazon or urban company, you may presume that entire India would be my customer. But you know, your company has just started. So you might have to reduce it to the lower, like limited geographical area. For example, if you are based in Delhi, you may think, okay, uh, my area is Delhi, not India. So you are actually coming from top at the highest level of all India, maybe your customer base, but actually it is only Delhi. And even when you come to one state or two states, you will find that, okay, not all area I'm able to serve. So to start with, they have to come down to a lower geographical area. So they call this model as TAM, SAM, and SOM model. So TAM stands for Total Available Market, and SAM is Serviceable Available Market, and then you have Serviceable Obtainable Market, which is SOM. So you actually have to estimate to all this, which I have also mentioned earlier. I'll not repeat it here. And then there is this bottom-up forecasting. So instead of forecasting starting from the universe, you start actually from the micro level, and then you gradually increase your projections to higher level. Uh, so this is just the reverse of top-down approach. And based on these matrices, the company will have a good idea of potential sales and then how much revenue it can generate and all that. But normally, what is advised is that you should, when you actually do a revenue model, you should combine both bottom up and top down method. So you apply bottom up method means you start from small and go to the larger customer base for the first 1 to 2 years, and then you go top down model where you show that, okay, so now that I have established my business in the first 1 2 years, my universe will be now bigger and my customer base will be much bigger. So there you can use top down forecasting. What is most important is that whatever number you are presenting your financial statement, you have to have proof behind each of these numbers. So you have to develop sufficient proof. This may be based on market research, web search, uh, your contracts with suppliers, pricing validation, historic sales, conversion rates, bills of materials, website traffic, and everything. There are many different, given your nature of business, you have to generate this kind of proof behind the numbers. Uh, this I already explained. And what is important is you develop many scenarios that in case I have the best performance, then this is my revenues model. If I have moderate performance, this. If I'm worst performer or just making the break even, then this is what it is. So it is important to develop scenarios, and then when your model is ready, you have to do a what they call sanity checks. Means you have to match the numbers. As we all know that in financial statements, there are a lot of matching figures which have to appear in more than one statement. So you have to see that these projections are matching and these are realistic. uh, Funding need is not adequately, like it should be adequately explained. Underlying assumptions are not, it has to be clearly defined. So these are some of the sanity checks which I mentioned here. I request you to have a look. And there are some pitfalls which I found a very nice video in YouTube. These are very simple pitfalls, but I thought it may be useful for actual startup. This is a case of urban company which is useful, but here you can see I have taken it from internet only, but here you can see their entire business items where they have to give attention to. And here their cost structure, what they have spent, technology development and maintenance, background check and verification cost, marketing and customer acquisition, salaries and operational cost, and their revenue stream, which I have already discussed earlier. But urban company financials would show you that for the last 3 years they are actually not making profit. But it is not very important for them at this stage to have profits all the time, because their market is still growing, and this is what they are focusing on. So any startup, right from the beginning, they should not focus on profit. They can focus on their sustainability and how big they can grow. So I think these are all some startup terms. I would suggest that startups are really using so many terms. So if you really want to understand their finance or any startup business at all, you have to understand their various terms. So thank you. I'll stop here. I'll circulate this PPT. Maybe I'll request Professor Dr. Shakshi Narayan to circulate this PPT among the faculty members. So thank you. Thank you for being so patient. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Participants, the YouTube was not, we are not able to display on the session during this session. So I will be sharing the links with you on your mail IDs so that you can have a look and you can get more about the startups and how we should start for the funding and how we can go more and more helping hand as an incubator. Ma'am, you had just explained in starting of word pubotic. Can you focus more on that? What is it all about?
Sorry, I didn't get the point. I'm really sorry. I think I have not put my mic in this dear thing. Sorry. Or can you have a chat?
Yeah, ma'am. Am I
Wait a
audible?
minute. How do I come out of this? Yeah, please tell me.
Ma'am, in the starting, you had mentioned the word pubotic. Can you explain more about it? What is all about?
Pivot.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, pivoting is something what they say, that you will find that a lot of startup are changing their names and going into some other business. You will find there are a lot of examples like that. What it means is that you are giving up one because you found that your business is no longer viable due to whatever reasons. So you decide to go to a different business model, and you can even merge with a different business, or some other startup or some other investor may like to acquire your company. So this is pivoting. This is what is known as pivoting in startup. So you change your business actually, or you do the same business, but you merge with somebody else.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am, there is a question that what role can the incubator or the accelerator can play to strengthen the startup? That if at a college level, the incubation centers are there, and the students which are coming with the ideas for their startups, and they have to change their idea all of a sudden. Then how, as an incubator, we can help them out?
Oh, wonderful. That's a very interesting question. Actually, I did not mention it because I think you have another session which will discuss this area, the next session probably. I presumed, I don't know. But incubators and accelerators are really, really very important services they are providing. So you can, even IIM Ahmedabad and IIM Bangalore has incubation centers, and there are many incubation centers now which have come up. When you are a new startup, you have a new idea of doing something, but you don't know how to do it. Then these incubation centers really hold your hand and do the entire planning, help you come up with everything. The how to formalize this idea into concepts, how you should come up with your business plan. At every stage, they will hold your hand till the time you reach the seed funding stage. And there are government program also which provide seed funding. And there are other angel investors also sometimes come up with seed funding. So there are models, and incubators really help. Accelerators come at a later stage when you have already proven your business, that there's an established business model, and you are coming for further help, raising further money. As I mentioned that there may be many rounds of fundraising till the time it goes IPO. So at every stage, you need to do something. So you can approach an accelerator. Globally, there is one accelerator, I think, called Y Combinator. And they have helped a lot of people. And India also have. India has, I think, venture nurseries kind of incubators or accelerator rather. You will find their list, lot of list. If you need, I can share some of the links later, and they are really helpful.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful session and the information which you shared with us. Participants, if you have any more questions, you can write in the chat box or you can connect it to me so that I can convey your message or your questions to ma'am and we can have a clarity on those topics. Thank you so much, ma'am. The feedback link will be shared on your WhatsApp group, and the next session will be starting by 2:30 onwards. So stay tuned and please be in a session whole day long from starting till the end because at the end of the faculty development program, we are also going to have an evaluation test based on these sessions. So you have to be there for the whole session, listening, understanding, and imbibing those informations into your institutions and along with you. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank Thank you. Thank you so much, Sakshi. It was wonderful getting in touch with you, and I hope the faculty members benefited. This is an area which is a vast area. It is not 1 hour's time. It actually requires, that's why I thought not to go into the details of financial statement because this is what is available. So I just thought I'll give some tips where they can start with. So thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am.